My name is Wossene Bowler. In 2000, I was doing a routine checkup to have a baby, and I found out I have severe leukemia. And after I was diagnosed, and then after the treatment, my family prayed if I ever survived it, I would go to Ethiopia to pray in all the church. After the church, I went to the only hospital which treats cancer patients to see how they treat cancer patients. And unfortunately, the doctor told me they don't treat. And the reception was full with children and women. And I asked him, what is this? They are cancer patients. What do you do with them? We don't treat them. And then what do you tell them? You die? My mission was, okay, if I educate these people, and I can build a hospital. And then my goal is to build a hospital.
I went to Wossene's MySpace page and I read her incredible story, and I was really touched and just really moved by this. And I had cancer back in 1998, and this was the first time I decided to actually deal with it, in fact, because I was kind of hiding from it for a long time. And so when I read her story, I just realized that I can't continue to hide from this anymore. So I decided to write her back and introduce myself to her and let her know my story. And I just basically stated, if there's anything I could ever do to help with your foundation, with my music, then I would love to lend a helping hand in any way that I can. You're an incredible woman and have an incredible story. So what you're trying to do to get this hospital and cancer center built in Ethiopia is the top of my priority list to get things done. Something that I absolutely have to do, because it is I feel that, you know, this is not just a problem, it's a state of emergency, and it needs to be addressed. And there's a lot of people that don't know about the major cancer issue in Ethiopia or in Africa.
In Africa, in general, that's true.
Yeah.
In Ethiopia alone, cervical cancer is 35%, and breast cancer is 19%, and head and neck is 17%. Recently, I was talking to the doctor, pediatric doctor in Ethiopia, and do you know the number of people, really the number of kids? He said, we don't have documentation, we don't take actual documentation, but there are more than millions, he said. So how many kids do they survive anyways? Most of them they don't, because in the first place they come late, in the second place it is a self-contamination, it kills them because there is no isolation rooms, there is no the person who took chemotherapy, the person who took radiotherapy, all together, and kids are dying.
What's the statistic now? It's like one doctor per 40,000.
And one nurse for 8,000 patients.
So yeah, one doctor for every 40,000 patients and one nurse for every 8,000 patients. That's there's no excuse for that. Musically speaking, you know, we're trying to come up with an idea of how we can help generate not only awareness, but the necessary funds to help offset the costs to get the hospital and research center built. And musically, the only thing you really can do is put on concert events, you know. So we're just at the beginning stages of putting these together, what are called the Let's Live concert series. to benefit the Life Second Chance Foundation. About a year ago, when we were discussing all of these ideas of how we can put these shows together, Wossene invited me to Ethiopia, and I performed an intimate acoustic performance at the UN. On behalf of Life Second Chance, talked about my personal story with my cancer and my mother. But we're in front of different ambassadors representing different countries throughout the world. And my mother had just passed away of cancer. She had a rare kind of cancer called leiomyosarcoma, and she died just 2 weeks prior to me leaving to Ethiopia. And so I remember that one of the last things I said to my mother is I said, I'm going to Africa to help cancer victims ultimately, and try to get a hospital research center built in the future. And I said, I promise you that I will do everything I can to make that happen. So the ultimate plan is to have the Let's Live concert series travel throughout the world, not just here in the US, but in Europe and Asia and South America, Africa. So the underground revolution was designed to get more people involved and aware of what's happening in our world, and to fight the good fight. And it is about the fight against cancer, the fight against world hunger, the fight against the AIDS virus, the fight against racism. Joining the underground revolution, which is going to include a certain amount of style of merchandise that we're going to sell, and proceeds of each item will go and benefit different foundations. For instance, for me, cancer, it's going to be the Life Second Chance Foundation.
I got a chance in America to survive, and American people, they were kind enough to give their cells for study, for research, and then to find a cure. I owe them to work in here too. The reason I'm working in Ethiopia right now is because of the need. At least we have here a hospital where we got treated, but in Ethiopia there's nothing.
So I definitely encourage the underground fans to become a member of the Life Second Chance Foundation and donate what they can, because it's such an important organization.
Oh,